Um, yeah, I think looking back at the season, obviously there was a lot of stuff going on, but I think as a team and as players, we handled it pretty well. I'm proud of how we did in the Western Conference, finishing place. I thought that was brilliant. And then playoffs is it's an unfortunate ending, but that's just kind of how it goes. I think this team has a lot to be proud of. I think Freddie did a great job when he stepped in, and obviously we don't know what the next step is for his situation, but I think as a team, the players are ready to continue the momentum that we had from last year going into next year.
With you mentioned kind of the uncertainty with Freddie's situation. There's also the uncertainty with the general manager situation. Because of that stuff, like, is it kind of weird going to the offseason not knowing how that's going to shake out, especially since you just had your exit meeting with two people who are in interim positions?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but for me as a player, at least it's kind of do your own thing and control the things you can control, and then everything will sort of fall in place.
What are some things when you look just big picture that you've seen from the team in terms of growth, and what are some areas you still want to improve?
Um, hmm, that's a good question. I think our mentality throughout the year got better and better. We got harder and harder to play against, and we kind of, I don't know. I feel like at the end of the year versus the beginning of the year, there was a more of a toughness that was there that maybe wasn't quite as there at the beginning. But obviously, there's still stuff to work on. If you look at last game, we had one shot on goal in the second half. So there and two goals scored against. So there's obviously stuff to work on. But I think from where we are right now, we have a real good shot next year for making a run in the playoffs and all that good stuff. I don't know. I need to think more on the stuff to work on, but I don't know. I think the mental toughness was for sure a growing point for us.
And Aaron alluded to it a little while ago in his media availability, just that for him it's year two, but he was starting to feel like one of the vets in the locker room. This is not
Yeah, yeah.
just year two for you. Just what it's been like kind of moving into one of the more experienced spots on the team and helping mentor guys like Tate
Ah,
here,
taters.
and just what that journey has been like for you.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. It's weird to see like Julian and Luis and Ochoa. I was talking to Ochoa the other day at camp because there were some younger kids there, and I was like, "Yo, Ochoa, how old are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm 19." I said, "What, bro?" I don't know. It's nice looking at the younger generation, which is weird saying as a 22-year-old. But it's nice being able to kind of show them the ropes and be around them and hopefully influence them in a good way. To no matter it, kind of like what Tony did with me and Jordan and all these young players, and kind of have a lasting mark on the club, even if you're not here or not playing on the pitch every second.
Is there a game or moment that stands out to you when you kind of, I know it's hard sometimes to look at the season in its entirety. It's been 9 months. But are there any games or a moment that stands out in your mind as a real turning point for the team or an area of growth, something that wasn't there last year?
Mm, let me think. Um, I'm not sure. I'd have to look back. But I think one of my favorite stretches was when we beat Atlanta, Toronto, and Philly all pretty soundly, and it was within like a month, I think. But that was for me a point where it was like, all right, we're a serious team, we're a serious contender.
Um, Last offseason, Sam came in, Everton came in, Donnie came in. Kind of, it seemed like the organization was addressing positions of need. Um, with this off season coming up, and obviously for next year, you guys want to do better, take that next step. Do you think that maybe some more positions or more depth is needed, or do you think you guys have the roster, like at least the core, good enough to make another run next year?
Yeah, I think we have an excellent core, but for sure we should make some moves. For example, we have one natural lefty for left back, two with Tate. But and if Donnie gets hurt and then Aaron has to slide over to the left, which is on his not preferred foot, and then you got to bring Brooks back, and that takes him. He wants to be a winger, obviously, or he is a winger. So yeah, I think there's still some holes to be filled, a little bit of depth. But I think we have an excellent roster right now, and a lot of very capable players. So hopefully our GM or whoever that may be comes in and solidifies things up a little bit. But I think no matter what, we have a good squad.
What are some things in your game that you're going to try to focus on to improve over the offseason?
For me, same things I've been working on. Being more of a physical presence. You can always work on passing and just playing out of the back, the comfortableness on the ball and all that good stuff. So.
Natum was in here a few minutes ago, and he was talking about the players that taught him and brought him to the point he is in his career, and that's something that he wants to be able to do for the younger players that he works with. What has your relationship been like with Natum?
Yeah.
The experience he's brought.
Yeah, I love having Natum on the team and as a mentor. Obviously, he brings a level of professionalism that everyone should try and emulate. I think he's grown my game just in terms of on the field. He's always talking to me. He's always, if I ask him about a play, he's always got an answer. He's always there to support me. I don't know. I think him and Tony probably for me are the two of the best role models. Him, Tony, Kyle, three of the best role models in the league. And they've all been doing it for so long. They've all been top pros for so long that it kind of, even just being around them, and even if they're not necessarily telling you like, hey, do this, do that, you can just watch them and pick up things, pick up habits and stuff like that.
Have you thought much about what it's going to be like not having Nick at goal next year?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Obviously, he's been behind me my whole career, and yeah, it is weird. But I know we have Putna and Ochoa are both phenomenal goalies, and it's he had a wonderful career, but I think Putna and Ochoa are both very capable, and I'm excited to see how they do.
So you guys obviously conceded less goals this year, I think, than last year, especially in that second half of the season. They didn't score as much, and I think that's been a little bit of a conversation within some of you guys. Like, how do you? And I know that's not your main responsibility on the team, but like in terms of as a whole, what do you think you guys have to do in order to figure out a way to score more next year?
For me, I think it's about movement. As a defender, obviously playing out of the back and all that, the game is just so much easier when your attackers are moving and want the ball and have that midfield rotation. And I think just like it makes it easier for me, it makes it easier for them up top when they have players buzzing and moving around, wanting the ball, giving goes, all that good stuff. And I think the games that we had we were very hard to play against, and we scored 4-3 goals a game. And then there were some games where we came out a little more flat, and it was sort of predictable and easier to play against. So I think just that desire and the desire to run, even if maybe you might not get the ball, you might open up space for someone else, and then they're feeding off that energy, and it just kind of it goes and goes. So I think that's kind of what it comes down to.
Justen, with the new playoff format, and just when you look at it, really it benefits the teams that finish as high up as they can, getting that number 1, 2 seed even.
Yeah.
3 was great, but had it been when you look at it, just the last couple months of this season, the intensity, the talent that you guys showed, is there a way to bring that from game 1 all the way through game 34? I know it's hard when it's that long of a season.
Yeah.
But when you kind of look at the way that things played out, had you taking care of a win.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
Not giving up that late goal in San Jose. There's
Yeah.
just different spots that if it had gone a little differently,
Mhm.
you could have gotten that number 2 seed and would have
Yeah.
made a big difference.
Yeah, it's always easy to look back and kind of point to things, saying, "Oh, if only we had," or "If only we had." But I mean, the same thing go if Sava hadn't hit those two 90th minute bangers, then we're 6 point back. So I think you can point your finger at certain scenarios, but at the end of the day, it's you kind of have to look at it big picture, and yeah. I don't have the answer to how you bring that fight and that willingness to win for 34 games. Obviously, as a competitor, I feel like I bring it, or I feel like my teammates bring it, but maybe it doesn't translate on the pitch as well. And to be honest, if I had the answer to that, we'd be in the MLS Cup. So I don't know.
I think it's just more of, I guess, when the finish line is, you can see the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the playoffs format because of that. I like the fact that it places more importance on how you finish throughout the season, and then it makes the playoff games just even more intense. Like, they're already intense, and then if I don't make this sprint back, they might score, and then we're done for the season. I can't wait till next game where I have a home game and then try and really. So I think it makes for good playoffs and intense playoffs.
You guys have one of the best home records for another year
Mm-hmm.
at the Riot. What is it about it? And I could see a difference from last year to this year in terms of just the crowd, the energy. Did you feel that, and how does that help you guys out there?
Yeah, no, I thought the energy all year was great from the fans. We thank you. It's always nice knowing that no matter what, the fans will be there for you and have your back. And I don't know, I think that's kind of, for some reason, MLS is like, even if you look at the playoffs, all the high seeds have kind of taken care of business. And I think obviously you're not traveling. There's a comfortable aspect to it, that you have your routine, you know the pitch, that the energy will be there. So yeah, thank you to the fans who've made the Riot a fortress all year.
The run that you guys had in the second half of the season was mostly under Freddie as interim coach. What is it about? How much of the way that you guys played was due to just like his temperament, his style of coaching? And a feedback to that, would you like to see him as head coach next year?
Yeah, I think Freddie's a wonderful coach. I especially for me, coming up from the academy, he developed my game dramatically. So I'll always have the utmost respect for Freddie. And I think he did really well with the group. Obviously, you said yourself with the run that we went on. I would enjoy seeing him as head coach. And I think all the players bought into what he was saying, and we all we came together as a group. Which for me as a coach, that's probably one of the toughest things to do, is to kind of manage players and all that, because there's obviously a lot going on, especially with the situation that he was thrown into. But I thought he handled it wonderfully, and he tweaked some things, but he knew there was we kind of have how we play a little bit, so he didn't want to come in and completely change things up. Obviously, the last 10 games of the season. So I thought he did well with kind of implementing what he wanted to do, while also keeping our rhythm and flow from the past however many games we had already played.